Punk Revolution now. Hope you all are having a good week. Today I want to talk a bit about the Travis Scott Astroworld Festival mass casualty incident where over 300 people were injured in some pretty gruesome events. It's actually not entirely clear yet what happened, but it seems like hundreds of people were maybe stampeded, crushed, trampled at the Astroworld Festival, which is the festival that Travis Scott hosts in Houston, Texas, with tens of thousands of people coming. In this one, there's actually 100,000 tickets sold. Massive, massive event. You know, if you go through Twitter, I'm not going to show any of it, but there's just an unlimited amount of really, really disturbing footage you can find of people basically dying and people in the audience yelling and begging for help and begging Travis Scott to stop the performance. And it's very, very fucked up. You will watch videos of someone dying, and then in the background you have Travis Scott really not that far away, within viewing distance, and he's continuing to perform. And if he would have just stopped the show and said, everyone back up, we gotta save these people's lives. Obviously, you know, it's more important to save someone's life than to have a show going on. If he would have just stopped the show, maybe the 8 people who died wouldn't have died. Maybe the hundreds of people who got injured wouldn't have been injured. And maybe the additional hundreds of people who were traumatized from witnessing a mass casualty event and witnessing people die, maybe they wouldn't have been traumatized. So right now, I'm seeing lots of people who are extremely frustrated and angry and disappointed in Travis Scott, because if he would have just acted a little differently in this situation, lives would have been saved. And it just comes off like he's a sociopath who's prioritizing his performance over the lives of children, basically the kids who are in his audience. And you know, I think that's a very reasonable perspective, but I do want to just kind of push back on it a bit, because the truth is we don't know really enough about what exactly went down, what Travis Scott knew while he was performing, what he was seeing, you know, what decisions he had to make. Were there security guards talking to him? What did he see? What did he know? What did he hear? And I think to jump to the conclusion that Travis Scott is some sociopath who witnessed people dying in his audience, but because he cares more about money and fame, he prioritized his performance over the safety of people in the audience. I think we don't know enough yet to say that, and I actually think there's a decent amount of evidence that Travis Scott doesn't deserve as much blame as he's getting for what happened here. And yes, in some alternate reality where he acted more aggressively to tell people to stop this performance, back up, you know, if he was a little bit more of like a leader in that situation, maybe, you know, those lives could have been saved. And it's really disappointing that didn't happen. But there's a very good chance that Travis Scott himself feels that way. There's a very good chance that Travis Scott, while performing, had no clue of the severity of the events happening in the crowd, and he didn't act in that way to stop the show because he didn't think that was necessary. And maybe right now he could be Travis Scott. We don't know what's going on. He could be traumatized right now. He could be extremely guilty. And he could be saying, fuck, I wish I could go back time and have stopped the show. I'm seeing so much dogpiling, and yes, when there's a huge tragic event like this, it's important to look at the leaders in the situation, who's organizing this event, etc. And Travis Scott undeniably plays a big role here. And they deserve the blame, because this is not something that needed to happen. This is something that was preventable with more safety measures. But I do want to say just a little, I think we just need to kind of hold the phone a little bit on the Travis Scott hate. And there's a few reasons why. First, I just want to kind of show you. Actually, first, let me just talk about ambulances at a big festival. Lots of people are saying, Travis Scott, how could you be performing a show and there's an ambulance coming through and you continue performing? I don't really fully understand this critique of Travis Scott, because there are ambulances parked at the side of every single major festival ever, especially when you have tens of thousands of people there. I mean, I just found this Westchester EMS website, and it says, you know, we provide services for non-emergency ambulance transports, and then you can see here event standby services. Event standby, yeah. So it's really common for major events to have an ambulance there, because when you have hundreds of thousands or tens of thousands of people performing or at a performance, it's very, very possible that someone gets dehydrated. and passes out, or they drink too much or whatever and pass out. It happens a lot. And a one or two people passing out in the audience isn't enough to say, hold up, we need to stop the show, because it happens at like every single show. And yes, there are lots of videos of, you know, Linkin Park and other performers who see someone in the audience who gets hurt, and they, you know, step up and say, hold up, everybody, slow down, let's make sure this person is okay. And that's really important. But, you know, Travis Scott actually did do that. You know, if you take a look at this video, where did I put it? Right here. Check this video out.
Just play it slowly. We need somebody to help him. Somebody passed out right here. Somebody passed out right here. Hold on, don't touch him, don't touch him. Everybody just back up. Security, somebody help jump in real quick. Keep going, just keep it this way. Somebody jump in, come on, security, get in there, let's get in there, let's get in there, let's get in there, let's get in there.
So, as you can see that Travis Scott, he saw something was going wrong, and he said, let's hold up, let's stop. Maybe he should have been more assertive about saying, okay, we gotta really stop. But again, you see how dark it is. He's playing in front of 100,000 people. The fact that he even stopped this show with 100,000 people to say, you know, let's make sure this person is okay, says to me like he's not a sociopath. I really think there's a good chance he just didn't know the severity of what was going on. And yes, I've seen the videos of people in the audience yelling, please stop the show, please stop the show. And yes, someone in the security, someone there should have like gone up to Travis and said like, we need to stop the show right now. Maybe that did happen, maybe it didn't. I don't see any reason to think it did. But the point is like Travis Scott cannot fucking hear you. He can't hear you up there. He cannot hear you. He doesn't know what's going on. The music is loud as fuck. It's dark. So I'd say let's hold the phone a bit before we conclude that he deserves all the blame here. And I actually want to show you this other video here. It's a video from earlier in the day. I'm going to just play it while I have it muted. It's a video from earlier in the day at Astroworld 2021 where people are running through the fence, through the barricades, and there's like a stampede. People are crushed. This is already a very dangerous situation. This is already, you know, someone could actually get seriously injured or die here. You know, basically what I'm trying to say is like this is during the day before Travis Scott is even performing, and we already see pretty solid evidence that it's something going on with the actual like event organization that is causing some really fucked up stuff to happen that might not necessarily have anything to do with Travis Scott. You know, this is something that goes a little bit deeper than just trying to, you know, say that Travis Scott has 8 lives on his hands. You know, it's a little, you know, like I said, I do think there's a good chance that Travis Scott, as he was performing, didn't have any clue the severity of what was happening in the audience. And frankly, lots of performers, they see an ambulance, they might make a little comment like Travis Scott did in this video, but to stop an entire concert because of one ambulance, well, then you're going to have the show, every single show, you know, every single festival ever being cut short, basically. It's not really, you know, it would have been nice if he responded a bit more aggressively, but it's not something to necessarily expect from him, which, you know, kind of led me to been doing a lot of research on this, is like, what, you know, who do we blame then? Because this is something that didn't need to happen. There's been plenty of festivals where this doesn't happen. Yes, it has happened in the past, but clearly there's some sort of like organizational issue going on here. And so it's kind of a difficult thing to find here, because I find this Astroworld Festival Wikipedia page. It does say that the music festival is run by Travis Scott. So while I'm saying maybe we shouldn't necessarily blame Travis Scott for his lack of intense reaction while he was performing, I do think if he was playing an essential role in the actual organization of this event, then we've got a serious issue here, because there's a lot of red flags I'm seeing here. For example, in 2019, the amount of people attending the show was 50,000, and 3 people were injured in a stampede. So 50,000 people, and we got 3 people injured. In 2021, the ticket sales were doubled from 50,000 to 100,000. So they literally doubled the amount of people they were cramming into this place, with already pretty solid evidence that even with 50,000 people, this is not a safe thing to do. So this is, you know, like, really just like a huge opportunity to make a shit ton of money, double the amount of tickets at a higher price. And, already some red flags saying that's not a good idea. And if that was Travis Scott's, demands, then yes, he deserves 100% of the blame for it. And also, just to be clear, if Travis Scott was aware that hundreds of people were being injured while he was performing, then yes, he deserves all the blame for that as well. I just don't think that's the case, honestly. And you can also see here, though, this was not just organized entirely by Travis Scott. We've got Live Nation, which does, they help organize events. And then we've got this Scoremore Holdings LLC. Let me go ahead and just Google that. Let's see. They're a Texas-based festival production and concert and artist management company. So we've got both Live Nation and Scoremore Holdings LLC, whose job it is to actually get this event organized. And I say, Travis Scott, it's his job to perform. Obviously, if you're performing and you see someone get hurt, it's only human to want to stop and help them. And it does seem like that he did do that. People are saying he's a sociopath, but I think he did do that. I could be wrong about that. Maybe he is a sociopath, but I'm not convinced. But the Live Nation and Scoremore Holdings LLC, it's really their responsibility, at least from what I'm seeing. We got to wait and see more information could come out. I could be completely wrong. But it does seem like those two, just taking a look at this video of people being this stampede happening earlier in the day, like this is like a organizational issue that goes much deeper than Travis Scott, out of Travis Scott's hands. I think if you're performing in front of 100,000 people and you see an ambulance, there's no need to necessarily stop the entire concert, because it does happen at like every festival. You wouldn't assume from seeing an ambulance that like you were at a mass casualty event. And there's a lot of people who deserve the blame here. We can blame the security guards for not being more aggressive, telling Travis Scott to stop the show. We can blame Live Nations and Scoremore Holdings. We can blame the pandemic for them not being able to hire enough, security guards, etc. We can play the blame game all day. I just do think we need to kind of wait for a little bit more information to come out, because this could be an extremely traumatizing event for Travis Scott. And it just kind of rubs me the wrong way. And I know we want to blame someone with power because that's who deserves to be blamed, but I'm not sure that Travis Scott really is the person to be blamed. And last but not least, I just want to say, like, if there is more information that comes out, and we do find out that Travis Scott did know while he was performing that there were lots and lots and lots of people being injured, and he still made the decision to continue performing. If that's really the case, then yes, Travis Scott, that is disgusting behavior. But from what I'm seeing with the videos, I don't think there's really nearly enough evidence to say that. And I think there's actually good evidence that if he did know the severity of the situation, he would have stopped the show immediately, like any other person. And I'm not even that big of a Travis Scott fan. I just, it does rub me the wrong way that people kind of just bandwagon based off the stuff they see on Twitter. But I understand, it's easy to have an extremely intense emotional reaction after witnessing hundreds of people get injured on, you can find videos on Twitter of people dying and just Travis Scott playing in the background. It looks really bad for Travis Scott, but I'm not convinced that Travis Scott really deserves the blame here. So let me know what you think in the comments. And if I find out I'm wrong here and that Travis Scott really does deserve more blame than I'm giving him, I'll take it back. And if you know any more information that has maybe come out since I posted this video, or there's something that I just missed that really, really locks in Travis Scott as deserving the bulk of the blame here, then yes, then you can post that in the comments, and I'll read that, and I'll admit that I'm not entirely in the right here, but I've done a lot of research, and I'm not convinced that Travis Scott really is as bad as people are making him out to be. And yes, I saw the apology video, and people are saying it looks so fake. I don't know, folks. Like he could be actually really traumatized here, and is just in severe shock. And then lots of people on Twitter just continuing to bully him after he's traumatized that a bunch of kids died at his show. Like I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt for now. So that's all I gotta say, folks. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching Punk Revolution Now.